Well, hello there. Hey, hi, social media family. Being whatsoever racist, but then not necessarily being whatever walks of life, factions of society, or lifestyle preferences. So far concerning any subscribers, that being of my own particular channel and or likewise chat room or comment section. Unlike any visitors to that being of the same of the said in question and of the former previous prior mentioned, who could possibly likewise be of whatsoever racist, but then unlike any of my subscribers of my social media family, whereas hopefully none of them would be of whatsoever, whatever walks of life, factions of society, or lifestyle preferences, like any visitors to that being of my own immediate personal social media channel and or likewise chat room or comment section could have possibly become or be. And disregard or ignore any interruptions you can hear in the background for this present social media broadcast or video of mine. No, I'm not making reference to any electronic transmission frequencies broadcast coming from a device of a television or radio, being of my own personal effects, belongings, or possessions, but rather that being of a nutcase of a neighbor. It takes all kinds to make a world. Stupid does as stupid feels. Or regarding making reference to one of these here proverbial neighbors from damn hell characters among the dime a dozen public nuisances of problem neighbors. But anyway, though, without any further ado, as I try as best that I can, well, hopefully of a power greater than that of my own self and or of man, and not just of a higher power, but the higher power, being of whom I myself personally chooses to recognize as being of none other than our Lord and Savior, the Christ, the Messiah deliverer, for my person as a believer in him, believe it or not, take it for what you want, and those who are of the few real or true Christians, aka Protestants, compared to how the majority of most churchgoers of whatsoever religious denominations are nothing much more than not just the worst of two evils, but the worstest of closet devil worshippers. From the pools to the pulpits, the many different churchgoers who represent the many different religious denominations with their many different versions of the Jonestown Kool-Aid mixed punch. And how can the blind lead the blind? And people in damn hell want ice water. And hopefully you yourselves will not become or be of some or such of the likes of them. But anyway, though, now that I have pretty much so have gotten the preliminaries out the way with this one interjection, whereas I wish to ask you all the question of, or this particular question, however said, and regardless of whether or not that my person I'm butchering the English language as we have it of the American dialect, before I were to dive into the subject matter at hand, the topic of discussion to be debated, or the given argument with the many different views and or opinions to be possibly affiliated, associated with, and representing some or such thereof, regardless of whether or not I myself were to speak upon anything else from that the advantage point that is, well, you know how to say, or in addition, or to supplement that being is what I meant to say. Prince of Peace continued to regulate my mind compared to how the Prince of Darkness attempted to confuse my speech, and with one of the spawns and minions of the evil one being of this one particular neighbor in question, or as I was saying much earlier. Yes, and regardless of whether or not I were to speak upon anything else, but then this particular subject matter type of discussion, or that being of a given argument with the many different views and opinions to be associated with it being of a rather controversial one is dealing with or involving regarding or making reference to, however said, the abuse being of which is inflicted upon not only the elderly, middle age, or senior citizens persons, but then likewise upon children, you know. So that is what the basis of this present social media broadcast or video is about. But without any further ado, first of all, let me finish up as and complete a former previous or prior line of thought in that same sense of word, so far as the basic intro as an introduction is concerned. Before I were to dive into this particular present social media broadcast or video at hand, and sorry if I may be boring some of you all to death with how I could possibly express myself, whereas at times I can or could possibly become or be quite long winded. And in addition, I apologize to how at times, well, maybe or possibly more often than not, more than likely butcher the English language as we have it of the American dialect. But then I never claimed to have become or be an English major, neither nor an English professor. But anyway, though, getting back to some of such so that I can get off into the subject matter at hand, or the topic of discussion to be debated, or that of the present given argument with many different views and or opinions to be affiliated associated with and representing some of such thereof, the same of the said question in the form of previous prime mention, as it is involving regarding or making reference to that of not only elder abuse but child abuse. Yes. But then how are you all doing? Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay, if not better yet to be said, to be feeling all right, or if not best of all to be said and or stated for the record, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, or too blessed to possibly become or be stressed. You and yours, your family and friends, and hopefully me and mine likewise as well are all the same. And you all had better appreciate this social media broadcast or this video as we have it here for the present. Then unfortunately it's not one to entertain you so much as to be compared on to educate and or enlighten you. Because nobody in their right mind or whoever still possess half their marbles or our marbles could ever possibly find any entertainment in that of a rather controversial subject matter, or to possibly enjoy that being a which is conveying a line of thought of the suffering of somebody else, be it of a person who is affiliated, associated with, and representing, that being of our own human species, or even so, that being of the animal kingdom of the lesser species of creatures. Anyway, though, I hope everyone is feeling at least okay, you know, if not all right, or if not blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, or too blessed to possibly become or be stressed, you know. And with that having been said, then let me just dive into it, you know. Yes, as you all know, whereas it's bad enough to have to think about, is that what I mean saying? No, that's not the half of it. Whereas there is a global pandemic going on for the atmosphere of our modern day and age, not only nationally, but internationally, whereas that is enough to have to, be concerned about or give a thought to in thinking how the world is at a stage of development, whereas there's an increased atmosphere of tension or stress. And to be affiliated, associated with, and representing the times that we are living in with the global pandemic, and then to have to, you know, have more be put on our plate, to have to think about that of how what is supposed to be the superpower to compare unto that of our own or the rival superpower, or whereas, as you all know, the main two superpowers are that of the USA, United States of America, and that of the USSR, or the former USSR, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, being of which claims to have become or be now a democratic republic or democracy to rival that of our own, you know, for that being within the continental USA, United States of America, whereas each and every one of us, not only, you know, American citizens here, but the rest of the global community, had witnessed an insurrection attempt against our own U.S. government, and that being of an attempt to dismantle the American political democratic process for January 6th, when Mr. Cuckoo for Cocoa Pop's former ex, twice impeached and yet twice acquitted President Donald J. Trump, the fool for all races of peoples or persons. And the word fool does not necessarily have to be associated with a despot or dictator. It just means leader in German. And at one time or another, I had supported him myself. And not to mean straight from the original topic of discussion, I will get to that shortly, but I have to get this out. Whereas I had supported him at one time or another myself before he, was like going off into the twilight zone, you know, and off to the races at that, as if he had him on the bottle, or worse yet, the pipe, and started to, compliment the old saying, the king has no clothing, you know. Yes, Mr. Closet Insurrectionist himself, who had incited a mob of angry protesters, that were complimenting a QAnon conspiracy theory about the stealing of ballots or political votes from the former ex-president of the USA, who has gone full flight from reality, especially when he attempts to do an Adolf Hitler number upon our own democratic republic or democracy, to compare on the Hillary Clinton's bogus hundreds of thousands of emails of Russian collusion as a suspected closet commie herself, not to mention suspected closet Klan and or closet Nazi or neo-Nazi, like our former ex, twice impeached, but then nevertheless yet unfortunately twice acquitted former ex-president of the USA, President Donald Trump, who has the audacity to want to attempt to throw his political hat in the ring to campaign for a bid to become president of the USA again in 2024. May that never happen. God forbid. I don't care what the naysayers may say. I'm sure others would agree with me, though, that he's not fit to be president of the USA again, especially if he's attempting to overthrow the U.S. government and likewise dismantle the American democratic political process, where by rights he should be in jail, with Hillary, I say, with Hillary Clinton. But anyway, though, before I lose my train of thought, if I haven't already, you know, and as a backtrack here, with reasonable purposes being, in order so I can go on to following to continue from where and when that continue from where and when that my person at last left off, so I can finish up as in complete a form of previous prior line thought in the saints as well. Is what I meant to say. Prince of Peace, continue regulating my mind, compared to the Prince of Darkness, attempt to confuse my speech from having me sound like Elmer Fudd or Sylvester Stallone, was I have yet to get my teeth fixed, get some implants, if I could find an affordable dentist office, find a dentist or dentist that would do affordable dental work on my teeth, than to continue to look like either the boyfriend, fiance, or husband of the Bride of Frankenstein. But anyway, though, and not to mean straight from The original topic of discussion, being of which I will get to shortly, or subject matter, or given argument, or whatever one wants to call it, for that or something such a given moment in time. And that's in regard and reference to that of how this present social media broadcast or video will be about elder abuse and child abuse. Whereas you would think that it's enough to have to be concerned with, I say concern, hopefully, to use a better word than worry, because God has not given us the spirit of fear, any believers in God. But then it is enough to have to be concerned with how, we have a global pandemic, and now, you know, that is Ivan the terrible wannabe, or the mad Russian President Vladimir Putin of the former Soviet Union, or the former USSR, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, wants to attempt to order the Bolshevik Russian military to invade the breakaway province of the Ukraine, being of which is trying to think to become a member of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, as an independent democratic republic or democracy in its own right, to compare on to what the former Soviet Union or the former USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or Russia claims to have become or be to be compared on to our own democratic republic or democracy, and yet it still has traces of, radical fascist totalitarianism permeating the inner circles of its government for the old guard, you know. Then to have to think about some of such that is closer to home in due regard or in reference to how the devil and his demons in that of the vessels being in which they have possessed of human souls are still inflicting civil and human rights violation offenses, or causing the elderly and children to suffer from that being social injustices of that nature. In the same line, I thought a sense of word for what I had mentioned last or earlier. So far as the civil and on human rights violation offenses, being the mental anguish and physical trauma being of which is inflicted upon the elderly and children. You know, the elderly for the atmospheres of premises of properties, for nursing homes, and children, well, the elderly in hospitals for that matter. But then likewise, children in hospitals, or if any children are sent to some such psych wards for that matter. And this has got to stop. It has got to stop right here. You know. Elder lives matter. Middle-aged persons' lives matter. Senior citizens' persons' lives matters. Children's lives matter. Okay? It breaks my heart to think that here it is in this modern times, in this modern day and age, right? That's what I'm saying, on these modern times, that this kind of social evil, of a social injustice, is still permeating not only our own society or that within the atmosphere for our own continental United States of America, of a democratic republic or democracy, but elsewhere for the rest of the global community. This shit has got to stop. Oh, excuse my pardon. I had become overwhelmingly passionate about a controversial subject matter being of which hits so close to the home, being because I suspect that my own, not only my grandma, but my mom had become subjected to experiencing elder abuse at the different hospitals they were at, for that matter, not to mention at the different nursing homes, And whereas I have yet to either find time or make time to investigate these matters of social injustices, civil and or human rights violation offenses, and hopefully with the help of professional assistance soon enough, because I do suspect that both my grandma and my mom, elderly female persons, women, middle aged or senior citizens, were abused not only, for the atmosphere of primitive properties of nursing homes, but then nevertheless at hospitals, public or private, likewise. And it just breaks my heart that this is still festering of an evil or social injustice within not only the continental United States of America, but for the rest of the global community. Anybody that abuses a woman or child, I say anybody that abuses a woman or child in my book is not just one of the lower, but one of the lowest forms of life. A low life scumbag in my book. It should be, no, it is a cardinal sin in some people's books compared to others. When it comes to persons or monsters, they're not really persons. They're like animals, worse animals than the much more familiar creatures of the animal kingdom. They're animals and monsters to cause the elderly, uh, middle-aged and senior citizens persons and underage minors of the children of the different races and whatever walks of life to become subjected to experiencing all kinds, different sorts or types of horrific civil and or human rights violation offenses, regardless, be it of a mental as well as of a physical nature. You know, anybody that gets entertainment or enjoys the suffering of another human being, or even so of the creatures of the lesser species, is an animal, a monster in my book, cut and dry. Ain't no shame in me myself telling like it is. You hear what I'm saying? To be beaten up on women and children. Pick on somebody else. Pick on somebody your size or somebody else. To be forcing the elderly and children to become involved in sexual acts against their will, to mistreat the elderly and children, especially in an intimate, sensual, or sexual kind of way, where you would violate their persons. You would make them become or be subjected to experiencing sexual hate crimes. That is an evil in my book, a cardinal sin. And I just hate it when people or persons do that to the elderly and children. You are the worstest. The likes of you all, whoever, if you are any that could, have somehow gotten on my channel or into my chat room comment section and be of the likes of that kind. I'm talking to you, not any of subscribers of my social media family or visitors otherwise. But I'm talking to you. You are the lowest of scumbags in my book. And the sooner you are found out and captured or taken into custody or arrested and then punished to the fullest extent of the law, it's no skin off my teeth. If we were to have it back in the day, whereas humans could be hanged by their necks, I could possibly would probably be front and center to watch a serial rapist that abuses, the elderly and women and children hanged by the neck, or we were to have that of the guillotine in operation, have their heads chopped from their necks, or depending on what state within the continental USA that we're living in, as it is concerning as to whether or not capital punishment is still in effect, whereas certain states may still have it compared to others that don't. Then those are the likes, if their sexual hate crimes inflicted upon others are of a quantity as well as a quality, whereas they would be considered as serial rapists, then like mass murderers or serial killers, then they would be put in the electric chair or in the gas chamber or be given lethal injection. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, though, that's pretty much what I had wanted to say, I guess. I didn't want to really go into the specific details of elder abuse and child abuse, but then I think you all have gotten the general idea of what I was trying to say, and as it would complement that of a cops and robbers psychodrama, you know, be it were to be a TV show or a pilot movie, and like the one called by its name title of Criminal Minds, it tells the likes of those kind of characters. But anyway, I think I pretty much so gotten this off my chest. Sorry about the uses of expletive or profanity or having my mouth off cuss word or cuss word or two, but I get passionate when speaking upon that of a controversial subject matter, is what I mean to say, when it involves women and children being abused, as well as the elderly being abused. You know. Anyway, I'm going to draw this all to a close, and I have yet to step out and contemplate my place of residence for atmosphere premises properties or facility for my own unit where I pay annual monthly rent and etc. for. But then I have yet to step out. Not that I was intending to become like quite the hermit today in any regard. You know, every now and then I would become a be like so, depending on what the weather temps and what stress I could be up under. After having been bothered with enough of the daily and nightly abuse coming from a neighbor from damn hell, male character among the dime a dozen public nuisance and problem neighbors who continue to attempt to harass, intimidate, and persecute or terrorize and traumatize their fellow neighbors, and likewise at the same time violate their apartment rental lease all the while doing so, and then have to be bothered with encountering some of such a likes of them outside on the street somewhere else, whereas every now and then I just, make like quite the hermit, or hope not very much like so. Like once in a blue moon, hopefully. And to make it a habit of doing so. But anyway, though, as I was give you all a greeting, then speak upon the subject matter or topic of discussion or give an argument with many different views and opinions to be affiliated, associated with, and representing thereof. Then last but not least, I will, give the conclusion for a social media broadcast or video. And if I have offended anybody in times past, then I apologize. Because such was not of my intentions to do so, for that would defeat the reason or purpose for my having established an account as one as one of the account holders for this particular social media website. You know, whereas if anything, I would have a different reason or purpose for doing so, which I do have. And whatever social media broadcasts or videos of mine of the past that could have proven to have become, offensive to some, and possibly rightly so compared to other ones, though it may seem to have become to be offensive, but then look at it from one point of view, it's really not, but still all the same, I'm in the process of deleting more if I have to, but then if any of you all have some kind of discontent or disagreement with me as some such getting more time over certain social media broadcasts or videos of mine, for that being which is of a nature for times past or for the present for that matter or for the future. I would appreciate if you would bring it to my attention, but all the while employing the uses of discretion or being discreet about it, Otherwise, I would be like, talk to the hand. Then, because I'm not listening, is I would hope that you all would think to bring it to my attention, regardless, be you were to be any of my subscribers as well as any visitors to that being my own social media channel and likewise chat room or comment section before you were to report it to the administrators of this particular social media website address. Because we're all grown-ups here, and I would like to think that some of us adults are still quite reasonable minded compared to other ones who are quite the like my present proverbial neighbor from hell will probably nuisance a problem neighbor, stupid does and stupid feels. You have a lot more sick people in the world, stupid people or persons at that, or not so much as stupid as they are creepy. There would seem to be more creepy persons or characters or social rejects compared to stupid and crazy ones. Because the stupid and crazy ones, you could see them from a mile away. It's the creepy ones that you have to worry about that much more when they creeping, making like the midnight cowboy, moonlighting the spooks that sit by the door, attempting to break into other residents or tenants' places of residences or into others' apartments or houses or homes. That just reminds me I have to get security for my own place of residence so far as electronic visual and audio surveillance, you know, and because a door mechanism to put one of the door, what you call up under the knob of your door to your place of residence, that's one thing, but to get an actual surveillance and an audio or security system, that's another that I have to make a purchase of or do a business transaction with a business company or corporation that deals in that kind of sort of type of business. But anyway, no, that's pretty much all I have to say. Regardless. And if you haven't gotten Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, I would hope that you would think to do so now, while the blood is still running warm in your veins, by recognizing or realizing, or whatever I have said and do regarding reference to what He Himself had done or did upon the cross of Calvary on the hill of Golgotha, suffering at the hands of Roman soldiers under their up under the orders of their superiors, religious, political, militaristic, and otherwise, etc. Pharisees and Sadducees and Satirian Caesars. Then, nevertheless, whereas he went to that cross of Calvary to fulfill biblical prophecy, become the perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice for you as well as for me. So that any of us, I say, so that any of us, being on whatsoever race and whatever walks life, fashion, of society, or lifestyle preferences, being an old, young, like both two sexual genders, male and female, represent not only the human species, but the global community within this post 911 era of our new millennial apocalyptic day and age, whereas the doomsday clock is now at a couple few minutes to midnight compared to our former previous prior to then, was at a quarter midnight for these right biblically for professed or the professed faith in them, where we'll become blessed in one regard or another, more ways than one. First and foremost, with this salvation being, which is the only means by which any of us can or could possibly hope to enter into the kingdom of heaven as citizens thereof and be blessed down here upon the planet Earth. And second of all, where we yes, be blessed with that deliverance, as I was saying, where we won't have to worry about the lake of fire down here, because we will be blessed to enter the kingdom of heaven once we were to leave this world. You all take care and be safe.